Welcome everyone to another Higher Self hypnosis session. This is the intake portion, and the person that I'm going to be speaking with today, we are going to call her Lee. Not her real name, but she wants her privacy protected. And so while you're watching this, you will notice that you cannot see her face on the screen either for this or the actual hypnosis session. So you'll just have to be happy just looking at me, and that's it. So I tried to do my hair okay, but anyway. So we're going to, for this portion, the intake portion, that's where I get to learn everything about Lee. And that will help me when she's under hypnosis know which direction to take the questions. And you'll see that more clearly once you actually watch part 2, which will be the hypnosis portion and how that kind of all ties together and plays in. And then we're also going to be putting together a list of questions that she wants me to ask her higher self when she's under hypnosis. So I'm going to pretend that the camera is not even on. Lee and I will both pretend that. And we're just going to get going with this session. She's already told me where she lives, how old she is. We don't need to put that on the camera because that will be only more identifying information. And this is solely being put out there to help everyone learn all of the amazing things you can do when you work with your higher self and your guides, as well as get information on maybe some tidbits that will help you in your spiritual journey, because we can always find something in someone else's session that we can relate to at least a little bit. So anyway, are we ready, Lee? Yes. You think you're muted.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So you said you've watched all of my other sessions on YouTube. So that's pretty cool. So you know how this goes. So just start firing away and tell me all about you. And then don't put it in big chunks. We need to break it down in little bite-sized pieces so that I can learn more about you. And then I'll stop and ask questions whenever I have a question about something. Okay.
Okay. Um, cool. So I'll start from the beginning. I was born in Alabama
Okay.
with my biological father and mother. Um, and I mean, they divorced when I was 3.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all I have for for that. And then I moved to Kansas City
With your mom? You
and
said with your mom, I'm assuming?
with my mom.
Okay.
Yep. So I moved to Kansas City with my mom, and she married my stepdad, which I called dad growing up. And my biological father married my stepmom. So that's kind of how I grew up. Um, where it's like I would see him every so often. Um, they had a daughter, so
When you
my
say
half
they, who's they? Mom and
sorry. My my biological father and stepmom had a daughter, Laura. Oh, okay.
or was such a common name. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But they
Um,
have a daughter and we don't need to worry about names. Okay.
yeah. So they had a daughter when I was 7 years old. So I was I guess a big sister at that point. Not that I was raised with her or grew up with her or anything like that. I grew up in Kansas City. I have a stepbrother and stepsister that are older than me. So my stepsister's 5 years older and my stepbrother's 7 years older. Um, so that's kind of how I grew up. Um, and then my stepdad and that I called dad and mom divorced when I was in college, and my mom married my third dad. And I have a stepbrother um through that's 8 years younger than me. And then my dad has a girlfriend now.
Oh, so he got divorced too?
Well,
Oh, your
my
second dad
yeah.
has a girlfriend.
Dad,
Her.
dad number 2 has a girlfriend now and he lives in Vegas. So very complicated
Yeah, right.
overview of my family.
So it sounds like since you called him dad and you're still calling him dad, you guys became pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's tough. So like I've done a lot of like inner child healing and like those type of things, and I'm really hoping like with the hypnosis session that I can just like clean out all the gunk. Like that's like because I know I have some leftover crap, that's like there that I need to release. So I just need that like deep down like gunk release because it's like I've been in the healing process for, I mean, shoot, almost 10 years now. Like it's been a long time that I've been like healing and releasing and like realizing a lot of things, but it's like there's still stuff there, I guess.
Okay.
So like for instance, my I have abandonment issues from when my biological father had another child because it's like the family that he always wanted. And so he just disregarded me completely. Um, but what I feel like is worse is that my mom, when she married my dad, dad number two, she also abandoned me to work. And so, like, I raised myself. Like, I mean, I remember from a super young age, like 5, I would make myself breakfast, wake my mom up in the morning to take me to school. And it's like, I remember any car ride, she was always on the phone working. And so it's like, I never had that sense of love because my type of love is quality time. And so it always it's like I never had that, I guess. So, um, and with that, Christmas is like everyone's favorite holiday, and it's like an actual nightmare for me. And it
Oh,
sucks because like people are like, "Oh, like love and family and all that stuff," but it's like for me what Christmas was. Like one, I was in ballet, and so I was a pre-professional ballerina. And so I was in Nutcracker all season, like 7 days a week I was dancing. So it's like that was my life, and I was in dance because my mom wanted to be a dancer. So it's like I didn't, it wasn't something that I would have chose for myself. It was something I was good at because I did it so much, but it wasn't something like I'm not doing it now. And I don't really, I mean, other than like having fun, like dancing around, like it's not something that I wouldn't go take a class. So,
right. Okay, so there was a lot packed in
yeah,
there.
there was a
So we're gonna
lot to
yeah,
unpack there.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down because there's a lot of questions in there. And the first one is starting with when you said you just want to, so kind of the image I got was a spring cleaning. We just want to do a deep cleaning
Yes,
here, right?
exactly. Pressure wash my
Right?
whole body.
Right? We're gonna do a deep cleaning. So, but when we do that deep cleaning, what do you think are, or what do you feel might be some of the issues, or do you want to leave it kind of open-ended? But what can we start with in asking your higher
Well,
self?
I definitely know feeling safe is like a big thing. A lot because like I'm holding on to weight and I don't and I a lot of times it's because that's your safety.
Mm.
Um, as far as what I've learned, and it could be something different. So it's like the safety, the abandonment, the codependency because of the abandonment, the
Okay, so how about this? She feels like she holds the trapped emotion of abandonment in her. Is that the case? And if yes, where is she holding that trapped emotion? Can you release it now? Send it to Creator's Light and replace it instead with what's the opposite of abandonment?
love. Okay.
Yeah, with Creator's unconditional love and light. How about that? Um, And would it benefit her to have creator's definition of unconditional love downloaded into her now? If yes, can you tell us what that looks like as you do it? How will it change her life now having that definition to work from in her subconscious? So, I mean, you've probably seen me do this, so I apologize if anything seems repetitive because you've watched all the sessions, but I always say that this is like you have a hard drive in your brain, right? And literally is like a hard drive, and all these programs, abandonment, whatever, right, is in there. And we're just trying to pluck these different ones out that we don't need anymore and download ones that do serve us now for where we're at in our life now and where we want to go, right? So we want to pluck that old definition of love out and download creator's definition of unconditional love. So you have that to work from, because the subconscious is what then drives your thoughts and your beliefs. And then so thoughts and beliefs are what then show up on your screen, the screen of your movie, right? Which is your life. So we want that to be reflected in your life. So, okay. So abandonment, and then you said safety. What was it that didn't allow you to feel safe? Was it that you felt like you were kind of on your own so much, or?
Well, so I think safety kind of comes in later, more so than like my childhood.
Okay.
So I think that safety is just more of like it came up, I guess, when I was talking about things that are stuck.
Oh, got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. So anything else from your childhood that you feel like you want to clean up? Or
I
should I
can,
just maybe ask an open-ended? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
could you just leave it open ended? Because
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
think of anything like specific.
Okay.
Um,
How about if I just leave it open-ended like this? Are there any other trapped emotions in her? And if yes, what are they and where are they being held? Can you remove them now? How will it change her life now that that has been removed? And then anything else, right? Until we find all the trapped emotions. Because that's actually a really big thing, is to remove trapped emotions. Because once you're done healing your emotional and your mental body, then you're going to be able to be in much better shape to go on and heal other levels of your body, like your causal body. So I'm working on a type of hypnosis for that. You'll have to come back for that, where we get to do a ton of like past life trauma, other life trauma healing. Not only that, but then we'll heal the multidimensional aspects of you. Can we heal? Is there any trauma or healing that's needed on a parallel version of you, of your past, parallel version of your past, parallel version of your present, parallel version of your future? So there's just like so many different levels and layers of healing that you can get to make you just really cohesive and not be scattered, right? Because
yeah.
sometimes people will be like, oh, I feel so scattered today. Yeah, right? Because you are, right? Right? All over the multiverse, right? Okay. So let me go back to the notes because I think there was another question in there that I had. Okay, let's go back to the ballerina. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Abandonment. Okay, because your mom went to work. Tell me a little bit more about mom working. Was she like big time into a career all of a sudden, or what happened with her?
So my stepdad owned a business, and she worked for
Okay,
him.
hold on. Second stepdad?
Yeah, my dad number two.
Okay, dad number two. So just say dad two or dad three, okay? All right. Okay, so dad
He
two
owned
owned
a
a
business,
business.
and she worked for him. But like that work, like work is 100% priority is like from her childhood. Because my aunt, my grandpa was like that. I'm sure it was passed down through generational, like, so it's like, yes, it hurt me as a child, but like, it's also, it's a pattern. It's not something her specific.
Are you like that?
No, because I chose not to be.
Right. So you broke it. Yay. Way to go. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So you saw that pattern and you broke it. Okay. Awesome. So, okay. So tell me more about mom working a lot.
It's tough because she'll always choose work over anything else, no matter what. And it's like, I mean, she makes a decent salary. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's like she will choose work over me or over her family or anything. And it's like it's so frustrating to me. Um in that sense because it's like I can't change it. I can't make her understand that like that's it's a job. Like stop pouring your heart and soul into something that doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Is she
But
still like
then
that?
I've also accepted it in the sense that it's like I know like she will always choose work over anyone else.
And she's still
Um,
like,
what?
she's still like that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So anything you want to ask in that regard, or it sounds like you broke that, so I don't know. You tell me if there's
Yeah, I
anything
don't know
you
if
want
there's
to address.
anything that I think it's more like I wish there was a way to heal it generationally, like for them. I mean, maybe if I could ask if there's a way to like heal that generational pattern to like help them.
Okay, so would her ancestors benefit? Wait, are any of your siblings like that too, or no?
I don't have any biological siblings.
I'm sorry, I meant, oh, and your mom doesn't have any.
Mm.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so it's
Yeah,
the buck stops with you, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay, so would it benefit her and or her ancestors, meaning you, her and or her ancestors to heal the generational pattern that work takes priority over everything else in life? If yes, can you offer that healing now to her ancestors who would like that healing, and tell us how will that affect them now that that healing has been given? I always find that so fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So then you talked about Christmas. So besides being the dancer thing with regard to Christmas, is there anything else that makes Christmas a nightmare? Because that's a pretty strong word you used for Christmas. Yeah, there's a movie called The Nightmare Before Christmas. I get it, but
I think it's because like one, it's just like for me, it's always been just like such a lonely time. Like it's just like I mean, growing up, my mom like her love language is like acts of service. And so she like hired someone to like help make the house look super nice and super decorated, but it's like she forgot about me. Like it was all about making it look nice, but it's like I don't care about the decorations. I want time with my family, but it's like no one ever had time for me. And then my stepbrother and stepsister, they lived with their mom while I grew up. So it's like I don't know their full situation, but like they would like come over for Christmas, open up their presents and leave. So it was like so greedy. And I'm like, I just want to spend time with people, but nobody wanted to spend time with me. And so it's like I don't really have a good memory of Christmas. And it's like it stinks now because it's like I have a daughter and it's like I wish I liked it for her sake, but it's just like I don't. Like it's just like so many bad memories piled in there
How old is your daughter?
too. Oh well, she'll be two. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking from someone who doesn't have trauma associated with Christmas, it's amazing. Like Christmas is amazing. Like it's amazing. And we were always very much about spending time together, right?
Yeah.
As a family. And I didn't have a mom like that. I had a mom who was on welfare. So she was home, right? So so she was definitely home. So yeah. So to see the beauty in Christmas, oh my gosh, like I want to give it to you. Like I wish I could right now. Like it's so amazing. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. I tell my family this year, I'm gonna as soon as Thanksgiving's over, I don't want to offend Thanksgiving. So as soon as Thanksgiving's over, the next day I'm pulling out all my Christmas decorations and then I'm playing Christmas music for the next, month and a half and it's all Christmas Eve in my house and I love it. And we spend tons of time as a family around the fireplace, playing games and watching movies. So you can create that stuff for your daughter. Like my kids have amazing feelings about Christmas. They love Christmas. So you can create that for your daughter, right? Like,
Funny.
okay, so let's ask your higher self.
That sounds like
Sounds like what?
I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot. It's a lot.
You could write a book, How to Fall in Love with Christmas. Okay, so how about if we tell me if you want me to reword this question, but are you able to pull the pain she still feels around the Christmas holiday, especially since it's right around the corner, right? Um, and download in her, and what's the word I'm looking for? Give me 1 second because I got a question kind of like this down below in my questions. Um, Do you remember seeing a question? It was something about downloading something in your cells or activating your cells. Let me see.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put Charlie up.
Yeah, your dog. Sure. I'm going to pause the video too while I find this question. Okay, we're back recording again. I did find what I was looking for. So tell me if you want me to reword this question. Are you able to pull the pain she still feels around the Christmas holiday as a result of what she experienced growing up and download in her instead an abundance of receptors in her cells for joy?
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Second, I'm gonna, so that's for joy. I cut that out. Oops. And so what would be, I'm going to ask, what would be, tell me if you want me to change this in any way or take it out. What
Okay.
would be some things she could do or you could do, meaning your higher self, you could do to um, bring joy and pleasure, joy and excitement into Christmas so that not only can she enjoy it, but also create joyful, loving emotions around this holiday for her daughter. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
There. You know what? Your daughter might even be a teacher for you in some respect because you're probably going to see, especially maybe even, I don't know if two is going to maybe be too little, but like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the joy she's going to have about Christmas
Yeah.
and running downstairs and seeing the presents and all that kind of stuff, and creating traditions. Like I started new traditions with my kids, right? So
Hmm.
there's this one particular movie we always watch on Christmas Eve, and that wasn't something my mom had me do, right? It was a tradition I decided consciously, what traditions do I want to create for my family for Christmas? Because I love Christmas so much, right?
Yeah.
And so we watched this movie, and of course the name is escaping me now, so it obviously doesn't matter. But I picked a movie, and it was about Jesus's birth, and it wasn't like an animated movie; it was like a real movie, and it's so amazing. And my kids love it, and they're always like, "Mom, are we going to watch that movie?" Because actually last year we didn't. We got so busy with other things we didn't. And they were all just like harping on me about how I missed. How come I didn't force them to sit down and watch this movie? Because like that was the first year we didn't do that, right? And then I would keep a log of the whole week up to Christmas and the couple days after Christmas, what we did every single day around the Christmas holiday. And I kept it, and I would print 3 copies out for each of my kids and put it in their file of what we did. And then I would write down all the presents they got, who they were from. And then of course we had all kinds of pictures. So that way they could keep that and have memories of, oh gosh, I do remember going to that Christmas party at grandpa's, 2 nights before Christmas or whatever, right? So there's all kinds of traditions you can create with your daughter too. So, but anyway, we'll ask your higher self what else you can do. So, going on from mom working all the time and Christmas being a nightmare for you, where do we go from there? Where do we go next? And you said stepbrother and stepsister were not around much.
Well, they lived with their mom, and it's like we weren't really close growing up. So it's like, I mean, as far as siblings go, like the sibling that I'm closest with is my stepbrother, my younger stepbrother.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I mean, there's not really much to report as far as any of my other siblings, because we're just not close. So, and it's like I tried to be close, and it's like I realized it was just not. I was forcing something that wasn't there, and that's okay. So,
Okay.
so
All
that's
right.
kind of like that in a nutshell. And then my parents got divorced when I was in college, and my mom got remarried to my dad number three. Um, and I love him. He's amazing. I do have some guilt around feeling like I wish he would have raised me. Oh, the other thing, sorry. I know this is like something I completely brushed over, but I've done a lot of healing around it, so I don't know. It doesn't necessarily affect me directly, and I don't really know how I could help him except just be in my own bubble. But my dad's an alcoholic.
So the dad number two?
Dad number two is an alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that why you
So
think your mom left him?
part of the reason I mean, it's not like he's not like he's more of an after five. He'll drink, 7 cocktails. He's not like always drinking.
Okay.
He's a what's it called? Like a
A
functioning
function?
alcoholic.
Okay.
And it's like I know he's not going to change, so um I've kind of accepted that. Um I've like grieved the fact that he's not who I wanted him to be for me. Um and I've let it go, so I think that's why it's not something that super affects me.
Okay.
And I mean it's tough cuz he's never met my daughter. I mean, one because of COVID, but two like I wanted him to come out here in the beginning of October, and he called me 2 days before the weekend he was supposed to come and was like, "Oh, I wanted to invite you guys out here." And I'm like, "What am I going to do with a 2-year-old for 4 hours on a plane to Las Vegas who, like, you don't have anything for her? Like, it would be so much easier if he just came here." But that's just the way he is. I don't know.
And so he won't come and visit?
Apparently not, because
Oh,
I was talking to him for like 3 months about the dates when he was going to come, and then he just decided not to. So,
okay. So do you guys talk on a regular basis or not?
only if I message him. Like I message him pictures of Adeline and videos of Adeline, him and his girlfriend. Because it's like I would like to be involved, but like he's just not interested really. I mean, he won't call me, so which is sad.
So do you feel like you might have any abandonment about that too, or no?
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, I was feeling that way like when I like realized like all of the abandonment issues that I had, they all kind of came up and I'm like I'm abandoned from my father and like now my stepdad's abandoning me and my mom's abandoned me. I'm like no one wants to be with me. So it like kind of like all came up into fruition like all at the same time. So it's kind of like I think that catch-all question I think will like okay,
Yeah.
let's just heal all that stuff.
Yeah. So it was obviously something you wanted to work on in this lifetime. And you're like, oh, I pick you and you and you to help teach me that lesson, right?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And we do that. Yeah. I've got
Yeah.
several in my life that were really good at the abandonment and rejection thing. Like a
Yeah.
number of people. I must have been like, oh, I could pick more than three. Oh, how fun. Let me do that. How about seven, eight? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someday I'll get the message that I need to heal this.
Exactly.
What is that they say? What is the common denominator in all of this? It's me, right?
Exactly.
There must be something in
It's like
me.
I had to learn. It's like, okay, wait, if this is happening so many times, it's like, all right, what am I doing wrong?
Right,
Like,
right. And it's not even necessarily wrong. It's
but
what do
like,
I need to heal or what am I meant to learn from this, right?
yeah,
And so that's like anything with any, I call it trigger. So it could be something that angers you or just gets you nervous or fearful, whatever kind of trigger it is, right?
yeah,
Now, like I've gotten so good at this. I'm like, oh, why did that trigger me? What is it in me that needs to heal that would trigger me, right? And you
yeah,
finally get to that place in your life and you're like, oh my God, this could have made my life so much easier so
yeah,
long ago had I just asked myself that question,
yeah.
right? But now
Well,
I ask it all the time.
yeah. One thing that I do is like after like the emotional, like if something happens after the emotional roller coaster goes down, it's like, all right, what did I need to learn from that situation? Like, what? Let's piece this all together, figure this out.
Right?
So,
Exactly. Exactly. But even just little things, like it doesn't even have to be like I mean, necessarily a big
well,
emotion.
yeah,
It can just be a small thing. Like, why did it trigger me so bad when that guy cut me off and I flipped him off? Like, what is it in me
yeah,
that was
yeah,
so trigger? What do I need to heal? What do I need to look at in me that would be so upset by something so stupid? I'm not even going to remember, you
yeah,
know, 3 months from now, or like, why did it cause that visceral reaction in me, right?
yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's great for, like I said, I wish I would have learned that a long time ago. It would have helped the healing process, right? So yeah, the common denominator in all this abandonment is you. So let's get that healed, right? Okay, so we talked about dad number two. And so tell me about dad number three. You said, oh, it would have been amazing if he could have been the one to raise you.
Yeah, I just think like he's the only one. I mean, granted, I don't know really how dad number one is, like, because he didn't raise me. Like,
Right.
I don't know. But dad number three, it's like he just has his priorities straight. And I think that's where I'm like, that's who I want to emulate. Like, that's who I want my daughter. I want to be the parent to my daughter that he is to me and his son. Like, he's like, family comes first. Like, I mean, he's a mortgage lender, so it's like I mean, he's in sales, so he works a ton. So it's not that he doesn't work a ton, just like my mom, but he's like, oh, Gabe's in town. Like, I'm going to stop work from 5 to 8, make dinner. We're going to see him. We're going to enjoy our time together. And if I have to go back to work, I'll go back to work. But it's like, he's very good at like undivided attention. And I just love that about him, that it's like, and I think a lot of it's like, he's loving me the way I need to be loved, with the quality time. So, and I mean, obviously, there's like other aspects that I like about him, but it's just like to see someone's priorities be so dead on straight. It's just, I think that's just so incredible. It's so important, um, to have that. Sorry, I
And
like
so, and so it's more obvious and evident to you that he's that way, and you love it so much because you didn't have that. Whereas other people, they wouldn't even put as much notice or emphasis on it as you just did,
yeah.
right? Because it's something you really desired. So, oh, what was my question? How long have they been married?
I think they've been together about 10 years. I feel like it's been forever, but I want to say about 10 years.
And you were in college at that time or out of college when they
I
got married?
was right out of college when they got married.
So how does he take it since he's obviously very different than your mom? How does he take it when mom is just like work first, work first, work first?
I think he loves her as she is. I think it works for them because he works a lot too. And I think it's more of like he accepts her as she is. And
Okay.
so, I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, he tries to get her to work less or whatever, but um, he also understands and knows that she's probably not going to change.
Right.
So,
Right. Okay, that's awesome. And he's a good grandpa.
oh yeah, oh my gosh. My daughter loves him.
Ah, that's awesome. Has she ever met your real dad or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
so, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, so him and I were estranged for probably about 8 years. Like he didn't come to my high school graduation.
You're talking about your real dad.
Yeah, biological father.
Okay.
We
Okay.
were estranged for 8 years, and so he didn't come to my high school graduation or my college graduation. It's like I got a happy birthday and Merry Christmas text from him. Um, and then once I moved to Charlotte, actually, no, we like randomly met up and did a Tough Mudder, and then we kind of were estranged. Once I moved to Charlotte, though, and after I bought my house, that's when it's like they came and helped me because I was 7 months pregnant when I bought my house. So him and my stepmom came and they like helped me set stuff up, and because they live in Alabama, so they're close, relatively close, as far as driving distance. So, um, and like we have a better relationship now. I mean, it's as good as it's gonna get, like I'm happy with where we're at. Um, so
Okay. So no questions about biological dad or anything like that?
not really. I think
Okay.
I've kind of, I mean, it's weird because like I see things like my mom and him were never meant to be together, but it's like I think it happened because I was supposed to be here, and so it's like that needed to happen. So it's like I've like, hold on. Um, so um, I lost my train of thought.
So you
So
said you
there's like looking
understand.
back at it, it's like you see all the pieces like being put together, and it's like my mom is 10 years older than dad 3, and so it's like they couldn't have met right away for him to raise me. So it's like it needed to happen, and it's like seeing the pieces of it happening in retrospect, it's so amazing to see like what the universe has done. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. So what's next?
Okay, so that's pretty much my family.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Okay. Let me see. I guess like as far as family stuff goes, like there's some health things that I did want to I guess bring up just because it is generational and it's like I'm very much of like it needs to stop with me. Like we can't continue this pattern. Like I don't believe in generational crap. Like you can stop it. So
Right.
um so I guess one of the things is like um thyroid.
Okay.
Mom and grandma have like thyroid issues. And they also have
Hyper
like
or hypo?
so the slow one, the
Okay, hypo. Uh-huh.
yeah. Um and so they're like, "Oh, we're going to be on medicine for life." And I'm like, "No, I don't believe that." Like I just like do not agree to that as the life that I'm going to live.
Right.
Um and then also like back problems, like my mom's disc have collapsed and so she has to have surgery, but my grandma also has lower back problems as well. um and I mean, I don't know what that necessarily is from, but what else was I gonna say? Oh, and then I don't know why I do this, but I know like my mom and grandma do it as well, but like pick and bite my nails like
Mm.
constantly. It's like I can't not do it and it stresses me out to not do it, which is so weird. Because it's like I see an imperfection and I make it worse. I don't know.
Um, okay, so let's take these one at a time. Do you have any thyroid issues now?
No.
Okay. But are they telling you, oh, don't worry, you're going to have thyroid issues? Do they say things like that? Like good old family members usually do?
Yeah, like my mom's like, "Oh, get prepared. Like this is what you're gonna have to
Right.
deal with." And it's like, "No, I'm not."
Right, right. So that's when someone is trying to create upon you. And so just being cognizant of the fact that she's trying to create upon you, that's where, like you said, it's right away before it even touches you. You're just like, stop right there before like, it's not even coming into my space. Like, that's not for me. That's not happening to me. So, but yeah, people do try to. And when you accept it, that's when it just fully comes on you, right? People create upon you. Doctors can create upon you. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Now give me 1 second because now my dog's barking. Hold on. Hold on. Let me give you his dish so you can feed him. Yeah, can you feed him? Okay, thank you. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's fine.
Um, um, and I was saying, yeah, so just
Or
about
like
creating.
deciding what I'm gonna deal with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, doctors can do that too. Like I had a doctor say, okay, you got hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, right?
Yeah.
Diagnosed with Graves' disease. You're going to be on this medication the rest of your life. And I was like I literally, like instantly, it was just like, whoa, no, 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 no. You watch, God's gonna use this medicine to heal me. I did not even let it come in my space or him create upon me.
Yeah.
Right. And I did. Like Graves' disease is not curable, but yeah, 10 years later, here we are.
Well, this is it.
Right.
Like, I question this too, and it's something that I did want to bring up was like there's so much fear right now outside of COVID and all of that that's like the economy's going to shut down and job loss and hyperinflation and all of that stuff and I'm just like should I prepare but I'm like that's not going to affect me like I just like I don't believe it's going to affect me like I'm going to be okay regardless and it's like should I obviously I shouldn't be scared, but it's also like do I need to prepare for something? Like, I
Right. It's like, am I living with my head in the sand? Right.
yeah, yeah, it's like I feel crazy that I'm not doing something, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I do wanna, like, ask my higher self of, like, if I need to be doing something, but that's we can come back to that.
Yeah, no. I think that's a good question because we're gonna do the health issues here, and then I'll add that one after. So let me add that one kind of down here a little bit. Um, oh, here's the way I'll word it. I don't know why these words are coming. Does wisdom dictate? Does wisdom dictate that she do anything to prepare on a physical level for future events on planet Earth, like, I'll just give some examples, like stocking food or water.
Investing
Or,
too, like, money-wise, like, how should I prepare that way too?
oh, okay, investing in something like crypto, you mean like that?
I have no
Or,
idea. I, like, hear NFT, I don't even know what that means, but it's like, it keeps coming up, and I'm like, "I don't even know what that means, like, should I look into this?" I don't know.
investing in um, investing, and then I'll put, and what does that look like? Like, or any other thing that will help her be prepared for possible uncomfortable future timelines on Earth. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's go back to the health things though before we go. So, thyroid issues seem to maybe have a generational link, a generational connection. Are you able to break that chain regarding the thyroid health problems, regarding thigh and spell health problems? And is there anything in her that you could heal now so that it does not affect her? How about that? And then what did you say the other one was? I'm sorry, thyroid and
And, back.
back.
Back
Oh,
and
sorry.
hip, I guess.
Same thing with regards to her family's backs and hips. Is there anything in her that you could heal now so that back and hip problems do not affect her? And so I think I told you this when we talked on the phone initially, and you know this, that every one question is going to turn into 5 or 6 more
Yeah.
sometimes, because depending on what your higher self says, I'm going to follow it up, follow it up, follow it up. Okay. Okay, so did we get all the health problems?
Oh, no.
Oh no, okay, all right. Tell me more.
Well, the other one is the nail biting,
Oh yeah.
nail picking.
Did you say picking?
Yeah, I, like, pick at my cuticles and then bite them, and then they bleed, and it's like I
Okay.
try to go to the salon and get them done, but it's like I still pick even though
Ah. And your mom and grandma both do that too, right?
yeah.
Like her mom and grandma, she picks at her nails and bites them. Why is that? And can you break this pattern in her? And what does that look like to have you break it? Is there anything she needs to do on an ongoing basis to make sure this pattern does not resume? How about that? It's good. Okay, what else do we have? You said there's more health
Oh,
stuff.
okay, so I have had a lot of like stomach issues. Like, I don't know if it's like intestines or stomach or something, but it's like, what can I do to improve my gut health, or like what do I need to be eating, or what supplements do I need to be taking, like that type of thing to like improve my stomach issues? Because um I mean, I have IBS, and it's like, not to get gruesome, but it's like I could go 5 days without pooing and it not affect me at all. And then it's like all liquid, it's like I feel like I don't have any control over what's going
Mhm.
on in my stomach. Um, so I took a um like one of those blood samples tests to see what I was allergic to see if that could be anything. So I need to like I got it back, but I need to kind of like let that soak in because I'm allergic to yeast, and I'm like, I don't even know what is in yeast or yeast is in. So just I guess those type of questions that
Right. Are there any foods she should avoid? Let me ask that too. Can you heal her in this area so she doesn't have to deal with this longer? Okay. So here's the full question I got. Let me copy and paste it to my question page. Okay. She has a lot of stomach issues. What can she do to improve her gut health? What kind of diet? That's a totally different question. I need to make that a different line. What kind of diet should she be eating? Are there any foods she should avoid or can avoid? Question mark. Can you heal her in this area so she doesn't have to deal with this any longer? And then I wrote supplements question mark. Um, she feels like she doesn't have any control over her bowels. Have that put that up here. And so is it just more like in the intestine area, do you think? The colon intestine area, or what do you
no,
think?
because like if I eat pizza, like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and my stomach's like super sore, or like ice cream, like I'll wake up and I'll like my stomach will just be in knots. Like I'll feel like I need to throw up. Um, so it's like I don't know where it's exactly at. I just know it's somewhere like in that region. So sacral and
So what is the
colon
root
is,
cause, right?
yeah.
Um,
Well, and that's the thing is like it could be something like deeper than just eating. And I'm wondering if, well, I'll let you finish that and then,
no, I'm good.
oh, okay. So, one thing, like, I know weight is an issue with all women, men, whomever. It's always an issue. And that's one thing that like I definitely do want healing on, but I need
Okay.
it to be like a generational healing. And that's especially because like when I was pregnant, my mom and grandma were like, don't gain too much weight. And it's like I had to get to the point where I had to turn backwards so I wouldn't look at the number on the scale because I was so stressed out about it. And then like after I gave birth, it's like got to get the weight down, got to eat healthy, got to, like they were like so concerned about my weight the whole time. And it's like I'm not weighing myself until at least 6 months have passed. And I had postpartum depression really bad. Granted, I was going through a custody battle at the same time. Um, and it was just like that was, I mean, being a brand new single mom, custody battle, all of this, all my family's in Ohio. Like, I mean, talk about the world falling on you. Um, and it's like, then I got really bad body dysmorphia because it's like, I just stopped eating because I was like depressed. And it's like, well, it would just like messed me up so much. Um, and there was a week that I had to stay with my friend because it's like, I didn't want to live. I like got to such a bad place that I was like, I don't want to live, you know? And I mean, I'm past that now. One of the questions I do want to ask is like, do I need to still be on my antidepressants? Because it's like, I don't really trust doctors. Um, and it's like, I don't really feel like I need it anymore, but it's also, I don't want to ask the doctor because I mean, I just don't really trust what they have to say.
So you're still taking them now?
Yeah. So that was a lot, but
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to break it down. Don't worry. So she doesn't feel like she needs her antidepressant medication any longer, but is that something she can stop taking now without any complications? How about that? And then you're over, wait, no. So do you feel like you're depressed anymore? Or do you think, where are you at with that?
I'm fine. Like I'm
Okay.
in a good place.
Okay.
I think a lot of
So,
it was my daughter's father was a narcissist. It is he's still alive, a narcissist, and it was just a very stressful situation. And I didn't protect my energy, and so he basically like sucked the life out of me. Um, so like in an energetic explanation, that's what happened. Like I feel like he was literally like sucking the life out of me. Um, and so I feel like I've been able to like be whole. Like I do Reiki every day and I protect my space. I only surround myself with people of love and light. Obviously at work, like you have people that are frustrating, but it's like I don't take that home. Like if it's a frustrating day, I'll go for a walk and get out and, do something separate. So,
okay. So, and I know narcissist. So, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And so he was the one that was fighting for custody, trying to take your daughter from you. And they do that just because they know you want her, right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So, I guess I don't know if we I don't know if you want to get into that whole situation. Should we do the health questions and then get into
yeah,
that?
let's do the health
Okay.
questions. I'm getting
I'm like, I don't
distracted.
want to like
Yeah,
forget.
let's not. Okay. So if I go back, wait. So let me go wait. Um, and so like, you're holding extra weight that you don't want right now. And have you tried to get rid of it or you feel like you just can't
Yeah,
or what's
it's
going on with
like it's like I'm stuck at this certain weight and it's like I can't get rid of it. And it's like one of the like TikToks that I heard you say like from a different session was like they were like cleaning out all this extra weight and I'm like, "Oh god, I just want to just like
that?
clean out
Yeah.
all this extra baggage." It's
Yeah.
like the spring cleaning, that I was saying before
Okay.
like just
Okay. What is causing this weight to hold on? And what can you do? Wait, she feels unable to get rid of it. What is the root cause of this weight thing thing on? And what can you do now to heal that root cause and help her to lose the extra weight? Come on, why did that open? Extra. And that'll be a whole little section of its own. Okay. um, okay, and then I go back to your notes. We did the Oh, the generational healing of the weight. That's what you wanted to do too. Okay. Um, is the weight, is the holding of weight, holding on to of weight, a generational pattern? If yes, are you able to heal that now for all generations prior to her and for future generations in her family? What does that look like? How will this affect any of her ancestors who chose to receive that healing? Okay.
Yeah.
Did we hit all the health ones?
Um,
Postpartum depression, but you said you feel like you're good there. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And then you started talking about your daughter's father as a narcissist, and it was super stressful.
Yes. Okay. The only other thing, I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but I'm just going to get it out. But
Okay.
for me, my grandma is so worried about her weight at 83 years old. And I'm like, when does it, I think that's where I got to the point. I'm like, when does it stop? Like,
Oh,
when can you just be happy with where you're at? And I think that's what, I mean, not, it didn't trigger me in like a bad way, but it like triggered me to change and to want to change and to like, I, I just don't understand that. But that's the only other thing. I was just like, I just didn't understand.
so does your grandma live in Ohio also?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone in your family is out in Ohio. You're just out here on the East Coast by yourself. Okay.
My brother just bought a house down here, so him and his girlfriend live like 10 minutes away.
That's your younger stepbrother,
Yeah,
the one you're closer to?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice, right?
Like he moved like last week.
Oh, nice.
So
Do you get to Ohio very often to see them?
um it's tough with so I let me tell you my story about the whole like what happened my daughter and all of that. So
Oh, yeah.
and it will kind of like piece it together a little bit. So I lived in Ohio. I went to college in Ohio
Okay.
and I stayed there and I hated Ohio. I really did. I still don't love it. um, but I don't like the cold, so that was partially it. But um, so I kept like moving around Ohio, and my degree is in engineering, and I did that mainly because I wanted to make my dad proud. Um,
Second dad.
my second dad.
Okay.
And I mean, and my first dad, it's just one of those things. It's just, I did it for reasons outside of myself. Um, and so I did engineering for a few years and then switched to something else. And now I'm in a completely different field. But it's like now I feel like I've kind of found my groove and I'm appreciated at work and I make decent money and yada yada yada. So with the career that I'm in now at a different company, um, I was like, I want to move. I want to move to Charlotte. I like had always been on the list because it's close to the mountains, close to the ocean, like perfect place to live. Never visited, just always wanted to live here. So, um, basically, like I I went to Africa, I came back and like moved that week, um, to Charlotte, and I lived with my friend until my my room opened up at my other friend's house.
Okay.
I lived here for 6 months and met this random guy and dated for 3 weeks and got pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And 2 weeks later found out I was pregnant. So we didn't really know each other. Um, I feel like it's so interesting though how the universe works because I felt like I was kind of like wallowing in life, like I don't really know, like because I was like I really wanted to be a motivational speaker. I like loved like the passion and all of that, and that was something that I was like, maybe I could do that. Um, and then I got pregnant and I had Adeline, and it's like my whole life makes sense now, and it's so weird. And it's like I mean, one of the questions I do want to ask eventually, we'll get to that, but where do I go next? Like what should is my next step? Like where, because it's like my life is just like, I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, I was making not very good money. I was living with my friend, and like because I was just like, I got pregnant. Obviously, fear came in. I don't believe it's a choice personally, morally. Like, I think I know it happens for a reason. And it was just kind of like, all right, I surrender. Like, you got to take care of me because you wanted this. And it's
Right.
like, I mean, shoot, like within 6 months, I bought a house. I had to buy a new car because I got a new job. I had a baby. I I started a new job, like all within 6 months time frame. Within a year and a half, I've now doubled my salary of what I was making. So it's like the universe has like provided like so much. And it's like I'm close now with my biological father, and it's like so many people have like come into my life to like show me that love. And it's like it's so amazing. And it's like, not that it's been easy every step of the way, of course not. But it's like seeing all of the pieces come together, it's just like, wow, it just makes sense. And it's like it was meant to happen. I think one thing that I do struggle with is forgiveness for her father, because when I told him I was pregnant, I mean, I told him, like, we don't have to be together. I wasn't looking to be with him because I didn't really like him when we were dating anyway. So it's like, I don't even want to think about, whatever. But one of the first things he said was like, how am I going to date if I have a kid? Like, that's his personality. And it's like, cool, dude. Like, I think you got bigger problems, whatever. But it's like that type of thing. And then after she was born, I reached out like one more time, like, do you want to have paternity? Okay, so let me back up. We did not get along, and I didn't want to find out the sex of the baby, and he did. And he was like, I deserve to know. You're not letting me be a part of this. And so he just stopped talking to me. He ignored me completely during my pregnancy because I didn't want to find out the sex. Um,
And you know that was just a control tactic, right?
1000%.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Probably it wasn't even as important as he made it out to be, but it was like he couldn't control you there, so he was going to teach you a lesson.
well, and that's the thing. It's just like in retrospect, it's like how much of an ass he is. Like, and I think that's what I have a hard time with is like he's gonna be in my daughter's life, and I'm so worried that she's gonna like pick up on that narcissism. And it's like I come here and it's like all I can do is like surround her with love and like protect her with Reiki and like try to be everything to her because it's like I know he's a good dad. Like I'm not gonna discount that. Like she does love him. He she's never come home with bruises or anything like that. So it's like I think it's tough too because like we don't know each other. Like she's in a situation where I don't know. Um, and so so like after, sorry, let me back up. After she was born, I was like, look, you have a daughter, you want a paternity test, like let's schedule it. And so we did the paternity test. Obviously, he's the father, like duh, like I told you. Um, and on the call, he was like, I was like, well, we can schedule a time where you can meet her. Like, I'm, open for you to meet your daughter and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, yeah, about that. I don't really feel like I'm ready to be a father. I feel like I'm forced into fatherhood and like yada, yada, yada. So, like, in that conversation, I'm like, okay, well, I want primary custody then of Adeline. It's like, obviously. And he's like, no, he's like, no. And so then we had to do this whole custody battle thing. And it was just like terrible.
And so what happened in that custody battle? Did you get primary physical custody?
The hardest thing for me is that, and I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, but it's like, it's a 50-50 state. And I didn't have a choice. Like, I had, and it's like, I felt like I was losing, like, the only thing that really loved me. He was taking away from me. And it's like, everyone's like, he's not taking her or whatever. And it's like, I've been able to see the light, like positive when I don't have her, like all of that. But it's like, she's like my everything. And it's like, I have to share him with somebody that's that cruel. And she'll never know like what I went through. And it's like, he'll never understand either because, I mean, he's a narcissist. He doesn't have empathy. And like, the thing that, like, I wouldn't say makes it worse because it's like, at the end of the day, I could, excuse my language, but I could give a fuck less on like what he does with his personal life. But it's like, he like got a girlfriend and now she lives with him. And I'm like, I'm still single. Like, it's just, I think that's tough for me too, is like, okay, when's it my turn to like, I don't know. Sorry. Wow, I just like got super emotional with that.
So, you know what? You're like the third person in the last couple months. You almost said it verbatim, the same thing they did. Their guy moved on and they were like, when is it my turn? And they
Yeah.
literally said the same thing verbatim to you as you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So he got a girlfriend and she lives with him
Which is
now.
one of those things, like, it's, I don't care about him as a person is, or like that he's in a, I think it's just more of like, why do assholes still finish before me? It's like, I have great qualities. I don't know what the matter is. But at the end of the day, like, just because he's in a relationship doesn't mean it's a happy one.
It doesn't, and it doesn't mean it's a fulfilling one,
Yeah.
right? So someone like that can't have a fulfilling, and you know what I mean? That poor girl that he's with, because she's like being completely abused by him. I mean, we know that because he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
So that poor girl, right? I mean,
What I worry about is that they're both narcissists, and I'm like, my daughter's going to be in the situation where it's like, and I can't control it. And I think I just need to like let go. And I've like really worked on forgiving. Like, I think the last full moon, it was like, forgive, like, it was a forgiving full moon. And so I'm like doing the rituals. Like, I just, I don't want to feel like anything. I just want to let it go. Like, let it go.
okay.
We can now have conversations without me like wanting to punch him in the face. So like we have made progress.
Okay, and so she's with him 50% of the time?
Yeah.
Okay. So had I met you before you gave birth, I would have been like, get out of that state before you give birth, because once you're there, you're stuck. This way, you can go around and do whatever you want, and he can't say anything because you haven't given birth yet, but because the courts won't have jurisdiction when you're pregnant, right? But now you're stuck.
Well,
Should have come to me like 3 years ago, right?
I think it's tough because it's like at the end of the day, like I told him because it was the right thing to do. I think my biggest fear is that Adeline is going to grow up in the situation that I did with like the abandonment issues and like him and his wife will have another kid and then it's like, oh, Adeline, you're out. And it's like that to me is like the worst thing that could happen because
Right,
I've lived through it.
right. But worry. Okay, so I don't know if you saw my TikTok.
And like predicting something that's not even.
Did you see my TikTok? It says worrying is selfish because um, worry actually helps pull in the energy and manifest that which you're worried about because what you think about, you bring about, right?
And
Not to
that's the
say
thing.
that,
Like, I don't want any of this. Like,
right,
one thing that I do want to ask my higher self though is why did Adeline put herself in this situation, knowing that him and I would never be together? Why did
right,
she want to? Why did she choose him as a father? Because I know like she chose me as a mother, and I really feel like one of our contracts, like I feel like I wasn't supposed to come back to Earth, but she was like, I want you as my mom. And so like I came back for her. And that's why my life just like clicked once she was here. Because it's kind of like, why am I here? Like I just it was like I'm floating around. And then it's like as soon as she was here, it's like, oh, okay, that's why. And
right.
worse.
You were waiting
Yeah.
for the grand moment. Okay. So why did her daughter choose the dad she did? What is it she wants to learn or experience? And then how about this? What can Lee do to best shield and protect her daughter from his negative energy? Right? Um, is there anything else you can tell her that would be in her daughter's best interest regarding her father? How about that? But I love the way you worded the question because, like, you get it that she chose her parents, right? You get it. And then you were like, why did she put herself in this situation, right?
Did you do that?
Yeah, like, why would you do that? Why would you choose him, right? Oh, yeah, right. Um, okay, and then where was I at on my notes? There was something else. Okay. Um, talking about the when is it your turn thing. So tell me a little bit more about that. You're single.
Okay. So relationships. I He was not the first narcissist that I dated. So
Okay.
like I'm definitely an empath and I like since I was little I'm like I was I always like felt special because I'm like I can walk into a room and like I can see through people. Like I know exactly how they're feeling. Like yeah, they're faking that smile. Like what's the deep down problem? Like I always thought it was special. Now I just know it's an empath. Like and I need to protect myself from that. Um but like every guy that I've dated has cheated on me. Um I mean, we'll skip like the high school crap, whatever, that's fine. It's like
So
a lot of
you
mental.
did stay there and you did say, okay, I want 7 of you to teach me abandonment, right? So
Yeah,
you said every guy has cheated on you. So you just like lined all these people up to help teach you this lesson, didn't you?
I guess, and that's the thing. It's like they have so many similar, like geez. I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done. Like, I'm out. I'm out. Um, so yeah, so I think, I mean, they were all like mentally abusive. Um, and I think, and I watched, gosh, I need to like get off TikTok, but I watched this one today that it really resonated with me because he's like, if you only love yourself at 30%, and then you find somebody that loves you at 40%, you're like, oh, they love you at 40%. But that's only 40% love. And it's like, no, like you need to love yourself at 100%, and somebody needs to love you more than that, or like, what you deserve. And I'm like, that's so true. And I think because after my last boyfriend, it was like 5 years before I dated again. Um, so it was like, I'm like, I'm just single. But then I kind of like got into the prideful, like, I'm single, I'm independent, I'm, like, I don't need anyone, type mentality where it's like, no, I don't. And I've proven myself that I don't. Like, I traveled a lot. I went backpacking through Europe after college and I went to Africa. And it's like, I've done amazing things being single. So it's not like I haven't enjoyed myself. But I think now my time, I'm like, okay, I'm like ready to settle down. I want more kids. I think, but on the flip side of that, it's tough too. And I think this is where I struggle because I'm not telling the universe exactly what I want. Because it's like, okay, I want that. But then I also love my undivided attention that I have with Adeline.
But then you also love what?
My undivided attention I have with Adeline.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, I don't have someone else. So it's like I could spend time with just her. And it's like, not that I wouldn't have that, but it's just more of a selfish thing that I just, and I think that's part of my like inner child healing too, is that like I feel like sometimes I use Adeline to help my inner child where it's not as appropriate, if that makes sense.
So, do you feel like you have any inner child issues now that you want help from your higher self to heal?
I'm sure I do. I can't pinpoint what they might be. So maybe just like a blanket statement
Yeah.
of like all
Yeah.
the inner child healing.
Okay, 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 okay. Is there any inner child healing that would benefit her right now? And if yes, what is that? And can we see what that looks like? And you tell us what that is and what it looks like to have you help her heal it right now? And then I'll say anything else, anything else. Okay. Okay, so as far as okay, so you think you might be giving mixed messages to the universe though on what you want,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know I am. And I think that's probably why I've the universe like, like, where you want to go with this?
Okay. So what do you want the question to be surrounding that? What would be in your best and highest good? Would it be to give your daughter your undivided attention right now, or would it be healthy and good for you at some point in the near future or more distant future? Or do you want me to word it something like that? Or what are you thinking?
So I think for me, it's more of like, is it in, and I don't want to be like psychic, type thing, but like, is it in my path to get married? Like, I
Do you have a
think
soul
just like,
contract? Right? Do you have a soul contract with anyone? Right?
yeah, yeah. Like, is it like, am I supposed, because it's one of those, it's like, if I'm not supposed to get married, then I'm going to let it go and live. It's like, I feel like I'm kind of like stuck on like, what should I do? because I'm happy either way, but it's like if it's in my life to be married, then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to enjoy this until that happens, or I don't know. I
Mhm.
think that's where I just don't feel like I'm going to meet someone online. Um, but it's like like what else? I work from home. Like what else? Like what do I need to do to like meet someone?
Do you want to ask if well, either along with that or separate, are there any other children you're meant to bring into the earth?
Yeah.
And if you had your druthers, it would be with someone you're stably married to, right? Not another,
1000%, yes.
right? Okay, okay, okay. So if yes, she does want to be in a stable, I'm putting words in your mouth. Tell me if they're not right. Loving, committed, monogamous, um, respectful,
Compassionate.
relationship, marriage, marriage. Um, so this is if the answer is yes. So what healing or actions does she need to take or keep in mind in order to manifest this? And this is if you are supposed to, okay? Okay. Um, sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. What else? Because I know you said, and we're almost at the limit of the questions that we can ask
No.
because I know there's so many more. I did add two more that I don't know. Tell me if you don't want these. What are some of this person's current, tell me if you don't, seriously, if there's something else that you have. What are some of this person's current beliefs that cause problems or blockages in their life, and can you clear them? And then what are this person's predominant thoughts that are currently creating their reality, and what should they be? Yes or no?
I like those. Yeah.
Yeah. They just kind of jumped out at me when I was looking at questions down below when you took a short pause, and I was like, ooh, for some reason, these two just like beamed at me. So I put them up there. Um, okay. What else about you? And then we'll pick any last couple questions very carefully.
Um, well, okay. So this one's really interesting. So I dated somebody that I worked with him, I quit, and then him and I dated for like 7 months. And then it's interesting because it's like I know we have a soul contract for something. Because he like, I mean, oh my gosh, I've been seeing so many signs all over the place, like 222, 333, 444, 555, and it's like, okay, it's just so funny. But 1111 is like my big like, this is my number. November 11th's coming up. It's my day. Like I want to get married on that day. Like I'm mildly obsessed. I'm so weird. I'm so weird, but I love it.
Are you guys still dating?
No. So we broke up. Um, I think this is what's weird is he actually ghosted me. But he has a lot of he's an avoider, and I'm like codependent, and so it's like not a really great combination. But he went through a lot of crap, and long story short, it was interesting. I like mentioned to my friend because she recently broke up with her boyfriend, and I'm like, yeah, I miss him. Just kind of, it's just like he's a good guy. Um, I didn't end it very maturely, and I had let him know that, but overall, good guy. And that night, 11:11, he called me. Granted, it was a drunk call because that's how he is. And I mean, he didn't leave a message or anything, but it's just like I saw it 11:11, and I'm like, dang it, universe! Like, so I ended up texting him, and Like, did you need something or did you just miss me? Like something joking like that. Um, and long story short, he ended up coming here and we talked just about stuff. And it was more about like his healing. And then I'm kind of like, you gotta stop calling me when you're drunk. If you don't want to have anything with me. And it was more of like I don't know what you're doing. I think for me, it's more of like, why did he come? Because I don't have any feelings toward it. But it's like, I know he came here for a reason. And it's like, maybe it was like a contract for our conversation to help him heal. But I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, because if he's from your same soul group, I mean, you guys have a long standing bond of being there for each other and helping each other, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm
do you want to
like,
ask about him?
I don't know. I think because it's like I don't know if I'm supposed to be with him or not, but it's like I kind of want to let that one lie
Okay.
and see where that goes
Because
because
it's going to
it's
work itself out either way, right? It's
exactly. And it's
totally going
like
to.
I don't really it's weird. It's weird how I feel. And the other thing is just like I don't think I've ever been in love. Like I know I love my daughter, but like with a guy, I don't think I've ever and granted, I mean, I dated a lot of assholes, so it's kind of like I didn't really know what love was because I didn't love myself. So it's like, will I ever be in love? Like,
So hold on. Do you feel like you love yourself or no?
now I do.
Okay.
And it's like um it's funny because like I have signs when it's like, oh, I'm not loving myself enough. One of them is like if I don't have my nails done and I like start biting them like obsessively, I'm like I have to go get them done. And like if my house is messy, like I can't stand a messy house. And if it starts getting like messier and messier, it's like, okay, all right, reset. Excuse me, reset. Like I'm not loving myself. Like I need to spend some time like just on me.
Right. Right. So you feel like you've got that one down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? What else did you have on your list that you wanted to cover?
Um, okay, so there's two questions that I did want to ask.
Okay.
One is what is my higher self's name?
Does it have a name? Right.
This is the name.
Okay.
Um, and then are we doing a past life regression?
Yes, we're going to look at one past life and you're going to set the intention. You can do that now while we're talking if you want, while we're thinking about it. Set the intention that it's going to be, and it always is, but let's set the intention anyway, that it's going to be another life that this part of your soul has experienced that is relevant in some way to your current life.
Okay.
So it's either going to have a lesson or show you a completely different experience where you did have X that you don't have in this lifetime, or where you didn't have it and you do now, or something then that you were working on that you're still working on now. Like it'll be really relevant in some way.
Could you ask what my name was in that life?
Oh yeah, I will. I'll add that when we talk about past lives. So let me go back up there. What is her name in this life? Okay, I'll put that right in the past life section. Yeah, I usually don't ask names.
I'm just like so curious. I'm like, I'm a weirdo. Like,
No,
ugh.
no, no. I didn't. I just never have even thought of it. Like, well, actually, that was one of the things we were trained not to do is ask for specific dates and names because it would cause the person sometimes to think so much that it can just like pull them out and make them start doubting themselves. So,
So if
but
you know your name, what it
no, that you would have to be sitting there like trying to really focus and think so much that it could actually cause like some kind of doubt and like pull you out, I guess is what Dolores Cannon taught us when we were in this training about specific dates. Like we're supposed to ask about what about the scenery and kind of get a feel for it. And if someone says, "Oh, it feels like the 1700s," that's fine, but I would never say, "So what century does it feel like?" You know what I mean? We're not supposed to like do that because it might cause you to try to think so much and not really be in the whole image and vision of it all and anchor you more back down here into your thinking mind, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask, not a problem. So, okay, what else?
I'm looking through my. Oh, one thing, I'm like not great with consistency. I
Okay.
don't know if like my higher self can like help me with that. Because
And
it's
when
like
you
I'm
say
good for like a
consistency, what do
month
you mean?
with like anything, like a workout routine. I'm like great for a month and then I'm like, okay, I'm over it. And I think I have some form of ADHD in that where it's like I have some of the signs and like my family has ADHD. So I don't know if that's, I don't fully know. I was never diagnosed or anything, but it's just more of like I can't keep up with something or like a diet or like really anything. I just Oh, and then the big one is like what's my purpose? Like what's my next steps?
Oh, yeah, 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 we did. Okay, hold on. So she struggles with consistency and I guess motivation to keep going with things, right? Or the ability to focus enough to keep going with things? Or is it
Yeah.
motivation?
Motivation, I think a lot of, and I don't
Okay.
know if that like is a tie to self-love because it's like it's like I feel like I love myself and I love myself more than I did before, but it's like is that the disconnect or
I'm sorry, what was the very last one that you said? Hold on.
sorry.
Shoot, the very last one that you said.
Like the last question.
Yeah, the very last question that you told me. I did the whole motivation thing and I asked about self-love, but there
What's my
was
life's purpose?
purpose. Thank you. Okay, yes. What is the purpose that she planned for her life before she incarnated here on Earth? And what steps, and if you're not going in that direction, what steps can she take to move in that direction? How about that?
It's good.
We are way over the limit, but if I don't go too deep into, you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
questions, I can get to more.
Okay. Because
So,
it's like for me, I don't necessarily need to know why. I think it's more of like the healing and the
okay,
releasing that I'm after. I mean, I
okay,
would love to know like why every single bitty thing, but it's like I just need that gone like it.
right, okay,
Um, one thing that I forgot about,
okay.
for like when with like the healing of the abandonment, can you also add like trauma, um like what I wrote before, like healing for trauma, anger, fear, and anxiety. um
And
so
so, when you say healing for trauma, I guess I'm saying that can be really broad. Like you can have trauma from 100,000 different things, right? So when you
yeah,
say trauma, do you mean just like overall trauma healing, or what are you talking about?
yeah, so I know we're at the limit, so we can't really dig into this a whole lot, but I have been sexually assaulted, and then when I was in college I was raped. So I think, and I know that like definitely has effect on my weight because that's a safety.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we were talking about safety. Okay, hold on. Let's freeze on the assault. How old were you when you were sexually assaulted?
um, 16. And so I guess like let me back up. So I feel like in a way, like my body's always been kind of like an object because like when you're a ballerina, like you have to be a certain size, and it's like I was never skinny enough, and um like I always wanted to be an actress or a singer, and my mom was like, well, if you lose 10 pounds, I mean, I was small, I was a ballerina. If you lose 10 pounds, then we'll get you an agent. But it's like I obviously never could obtain losing 10 pounds. Um, and so it was just like always about my body. And then um when I was 16, I was sexually assaulted by a massage therapist. Um, and
Being a massage?
yeah,
Did you tell anyone?
I think that was hard because it's like I needed to like wrap my head around what was going on, and my mom just like took me to the police station, and I'm like, I needed to like comprehend what was happening, and I guarantee you she probably doesn't remember any of that. Like that's what's weird about her is like she like filters out any bad thing. And I'm like, that's great, but it's also she's not dealing with any like things that she's gone through. Like you can't just like block it all out. So I don't know. And I think that's why like unknown triggers come up is like when you don't deal with it.
Right. And I was guessing that about your mom earlier anyway, the way she works, because that's a very big distracting technique to not have to deal with
Yes.
issues and healing is you don't have time for it. You're just too busy for it. There's no place in your life for it. And you keep so busy that you don't have to feel the pain,
Yeah.
right? Right.
And I think that's what's yeah, she's 1000% that way. And then she loves animals, and it's like she takes it to like a whole nother level. And it's like it's tough because it's more of like an emotional trauma response towards an animal, like towards our dog, than it is like a healthy relationship with an animal. And it's tough. And it's like I really wish she would be open to something like this to heal, but it's like I'm trying to heal myself to like hopefully heal like the genetic codes as much as possible to like help heal her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, so at 16 you were sexually assaulted by a massage therapist, and then did he ever get in trouble for it or anything?
I don't know. It was one of those things like it happened and I was like, I'm not I
Okay, and then when you were in college you were raped. Was that like a date rape or something else?
yeah, I was drugged and
Okay. And so, do you want to ask if you have any trauma left from that? Anything, or do you feel like you've already dealt with that? Or how do you feel about that?
I've I've really I mean I feel a lot better about it because I mean I said it without having an emotional impact on it. So I definitely feel like I think more the thing that I worry about is like moving forward and dating because it's like me having any like I like I don't like to kiss anyone, especially the first time unless I'm drinking. Like and that's been even before that time. It's like I'm just so uncomfortable with it. Um and so I think it's just like I'm not comfortable in my body because of all of the trauma that I've experienced. So it's like I'm not comfortable with like showing love. I mean, like, and that's the thing. It's like, well, my daughter, I'm like, I kissed her all the time, and we're dorks. But I think it's different, like with
Safe love.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So do you feel like relationships are not necessarily safe?
I feel like I'm better on my own. I don't want to feel that way, but it's kind of like it's easier when I don't have anyone. I
Right.
can do it all myself. I can pay my bills. I can, my life is together and easier and safer without anyone else. And it's like I don't want to live like that. Um, but that's kind of like the bubble that I've created for myself. And it's like it's weird. I mean, I've like gotten to this point where it's like I find guys attractive obviously, but like I find things wrong with them to like push myself away. And I'm worried that I haven't broken this cycle of terrible relationships, terrible people, and it's kind of like I mean, yes, the last guy I dated was different, but he still left. He still abandoned me. It's like I handled it better because I'm more stable in my spirituality and myself, but it's also like I feel like it's also like, oh, we'll come and go. It's not going to affect me. So it's like there's no feelings with that where there should be, really. I mean, so I don't know. Like I feel like I'm broken in that sense. And that was a lot. I know we're at the
No,
last
no, this is
minute.
important though. I put this up. I've definitely put this on here. So she has a hard time feeling safe in a relationship and has created a bubble around herself to keep her at bay and finds things wrong with men to push herself away. Wow, that rhymed. Um, she feels like she keeps repeating this cycle of terrible relationships. What can you do to heal the cycle and get her off this roller coaster? She feels broken in this way. I was just using your words. Um, and then you touched on something else in there too. What was it? I should have wrote it down really quickly. Uh, oh, the
Ooh,
body image.
yeah.
She has a negative. I want to put that by the weight and see if that has anything to do with the weight. Where's the weight question? Let me see. There it is. Okay, tell me if I worded this okay. She has a negative body image and insecurity expressing emotions and affection in relationships. Why is this and can you heal it?
Sounds good.
Yep. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're way over. Okay. We'll do our best. I just need to make sure I stay on track of the questions because a lot of times I keep it at a page and a half, so it leaves me a lot of room
Yeah.
to follow the questions further because your higher self might be like, oh, yeah, because in this other life, she experienced this trauma and it carries forward. But that's not on your list of questions. But then normally I would follow that and go, oh, okay. So, wow, that wasn't even on our radar. So, what can you do to heal this? Right. So, it
Yeah.
leaves me, we didn't leave me much room at all to follow those breadcrumb trails for other things, but I'll do my best. Because I can't keep you under for 3.5 hours. Um, yeah, Dolores Cannon was pretty firm about the total 2 hours for everything. And so I go over the 2 hours and I ask people's higher selves if I see you start to get a little bit fidgety or something like that. I'll ask, is she okay to continue on? Or do I need to pull her out? Obviously, if your higher self says I need to pull you out, I'll say, well, should we continue this session at another time? Would that benefit her? Would that, be good for her? And whatever your higher self says, right? But you can do more than one session. I never like force anyone or
Well,
push anyone or
that's
follow
something
up. And
I wanted to ask if we have time, like obviously, but it was like when, because I know I'm gonna need another one. Like when would the next session be? Like when should I have another session?
okay, yeah. So
Because
some
I
people
know
put that.
I know that it's not gonna get all cleared out, and I know that I'm gonna need another one, and I know your schedule is really busy, so like I want to
No,
get that.
it's easier to get in for a follow-up session with me because we don't do the intake again. So it's
Gotcha.
super easy. So like if I have someone that's just doing like an intake one day, like you're just doing the intake today and we're doing the hypnosis session tomorrow, it's super easy to put you the opposite of that person, right? So it's really easy to get in my calendar for those. It's just the initial all day ones, or back to back are a little bit harder. They take longer to get in. So would it be beneficial for her to do another session with me? And if yes, how soon should she do one? Okay. So we'll ask, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 2 weeks. I don't know, right? um, and then the last two questions I always ask, is there anything else open-ended you would like to share with her before we end this session? And then the very last one is, if she takes all the information from this session and incorporates it into her life, how will her life be different compared to what it would have been like had she not done this session?
Oh,
Okay. Because you're going to get a roadmap. I know you've heard me say this in other people's videos, but you're going to get a roadmap for your life. You're going to get a ton of healing, right? But you're going to get a roadmap for your life. Um, on what to do. So I will, unless there's anything else you want to share with me, I'll go ahead and turn off the recording and invite everyone to join for part two, which is the actual hypnosis session. And you and I are going to chat for just a few minutes longer. And I'm going to coach you on, and you may have heard this in some of my other videos, so if it might be a little repetitious, but I'm going to coach you on how that one of the three, you're going to be one of three ways under hypnosis. And if your conscious mind is fully there during the session, how you can conduct yourself to make sure that it's a really successful, smooth session. Okay. So thank you everyone for watching. And thank you to Lee for letting us put this on YouTube, and make sure you join us for part two, which is the actual session, to see what her higher self has to say about all these questions.